Hello, YouTube friends and family. My name is David. I'm an INFJ. I am an author, and I'm coming to you with this video titled Three Ways That What is the title? You know what? I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but it's fine. 3 reasons people find INFJs so irritating. Before we start, I'm going to tell you that nobody finds me more irritating than myself. So let's just get that out of the way. And I think a lot of INFJs probably feel that way. My hope for the next few minutes is that if you are an INFJ and you are watching this and your significant other or person that you are in a relationship with is not an INFJ and is having a hard time understanding that you can forward this video to them and be like, hey, look, hopefully I say some things that resonate with you and it makes some sense. And you'd be like, you know what, this is kind of the way my brain works. If you are the other person who is not an INFJ and your cute little INFJ sent you here, congratulations and I'm sorry, first of all. And second of all, hopefully something here helps you to understand each other. So with that being said, here we go. 3 reasons why people find INFJs irritating as fuck. All right, so my usual disclaimer, if you are watching this video and you have no idea what an INFJ is, the entirety of the internet is at your fingertips. Look up MBTI, INFJ, 16 personalities. If you look up those things, you will find the test, the MBTI test, take the test and see what kind of type you are. If you already find me to be supremely irritating, you're probably not an INFJ, and that's okay. It's fine. You're still welcome here. It's evening here, and I thought this was just a good way to have a chat. I made myself some tea. It's a lovely spot of little tea, yeah? Delicious, isn't it? A little hot, but it's fine. Sometimes I like to talk in accents. I like to practice them. My favorite's Russian, like the comical Russian villain. Drink vodka, eat bullets, fight bear, Putin on Ritz. You get it? Putin on the Brits. Anyway, so to get into why people may find you as an INFJ irritating, we need to go ahead and cover the 4 functions, right? Our 4 cognitive functions for an INFJ, which will be as follows. I like to make my own sound effects too. There they are. Introverted intuition is your primary function, followed by extroverted feeling, followed by introverted thinking, followed by extroverted sensing. You are what's called a knife, N-I-F-E. N-I is your introverted intuition, F-E is your extroverted feeling. That is really important to remember. These things, you see INFJ, and yes, it stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging, which is true, but your cognitive functions, wrapping your head around what they are and how they work within your mind, that's really important for this kind of thing. The first reason people may find you irritating is that you, as an INFJ, more likely than not, have a difficult time connecting what is going on in your think squish with what is coming out of your speak hole. What I mean by that is that as an intuitive, you have a very deep and very broad world going on a subconscious level in your head, right? So you're gathering all kinds of information. Your brain is putting together all kinds of patterns. It's looking at all sorts of things and trying to make sense of it and seeing where the pieces fit and connecting. It is as if, though, your brain is working on one of those puzzles that's like 1,000 pieces, but it's like the same color on both sides and you could like flip it. And it's just really trying to figure the whole thing out. And it can see and recognize that some shapes fit together where they should, but a lot of times it's very confusing and you may be staring at a piece that has nothing to do with the pieces that you really want to be working on. By the way, I'm very good at puzzles. It's true though. What happens is we've got all of that going on, and then our logical brain is trying to make sense of things, and we're trying to express that. And it's very difficult to express what is working on a subconscious level in your head and is really just kind of scattered and constantly information gathering and constantly banging around in there like a pinball in a pinball machine. It's overwhelming for us. And so we may have this deep internal world and we see all of these things and we desperately want to express it. But when it comes time to actually manifest that into words and put it out into the world, there's a disconnect. It's as if your brain has crafted this incredible scene in your mind that is just detailed and exquisite, and just everything about it makes sense and it's connecting and it's all of these different things. And then it comes time to describe what that's like into the outside world, and you're just like, duh. It's so frustrating. The amount of times I have irritated myself into just not wanting to speak to another person. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. And imagine this from somebody else's perspective. Because you're sitting there and you know what you're thinking and you've got it all in your head, but then it comes time to actually articulate and it's like, no. Now, a lot of this has to do with your second function, extroverted feeling. Because extroverted feeling is the feelings and emotions of other people. So when you have all these puzzle pieces and all this stuff getting put together and you are so locked into your own head trying to feel these things and getting ready to articulate them, then extroverted feeling hits. And you're like, if I say this, another person or a group of people may feel this way about it. So you try and sort of censor yourself and sort of say things in a different way. And then you're like, oh my gosh. And now all of a sudden I'm just a burden to the world at large. And I'm going to go crawl into a hole and put a rock in front of it. And I will be in that hole and just leave me there. I'll be fine. I'm happy. So how do we make this better as INFJs? I think more than anything, it's trying to relax and understanding that your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and getting them out there, even though it's difficult and it's scary, because as soon as it leaves your mouth, it's out into the world and it's in other people's ears, and you can't really take those things back. So the way to go about this is to explain to people like, look, I'm having a very hard time articulating the way I am feeling. I am always having a hard time articulating the way I am feeling. And I would very much like to do so. In some cases, maybe you just need more time to figure out your thoughts, or just let somebody know, like, this is very difficult for me and I'm trying my best to express how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And here it is. And then let it come out, whatever those thoughts are, and then clarify the best you can. Right? And so having some understanding that the way somebody else is seeing you is going to be confusing, just as confusing as the way you see everything in your own head. More than anything, just kind of relax about it, my sweet, sweet INFJ friends. Second on my list, we change our minds. Let me know if this seems familiar to you. Somebody texts you, hopefully, or calls you up, in which case you're already mortified. And they're like, hey, we're having a get together and it's a thing and it's going to be Friday. Why don't you come along? And it's Tuesday and Friday's far enough into the future where you're like, yeah, all right. Then Wednesday happens. And here comes the cloud of dread. And then Thursday arrives and you are not okay. And then Friday hits and you are in knots because you do not want to go, but you also don't want to cancel. You also don't want to be seen as somebody who is flaky. You also really don't want to go. What do you do and how does that work? And you may talk to that person and be like, listen, I changed my mind. I'm not going to go. Or you may just come up with a lie and be like, hey, this is not going to work for me because I was assaulted by a school bus full of koala bears that had machetes. They were very violent. And I had to save some kittens. I hurt my thumb. In which case, if you've known this person who invited you for a long period of time, they very well might just be like, yeah, you don't want to go. I get it. That's totally good. Yay! I'm so happy being an INFJ sometimes. It's true, though. We tend to make our snap decisions on the emotions of others. Again, extroverted feeling is coming into play. And so when that happens, it's tough. Like we don't want to let somebody down by saying no. So we say yes, even though we just really don't want to go and don't want to do these things. It doesn't happen all the time. I mean, obviously you have friends and you have family. And when somebody has a function, there's going to be people there that you like. You're going to want to go. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally awesome. But every once in a while, it just hits you different. And other people are going to see that behavior and they're going to be like, you know what? This is an unreliable person to ask for things. I'm an INFJ. My wish is for people to be like, listen, I know you're going to say no, but I'm inviting you because I know you don't want to feel like you're not invited. And then I have the freedom to be like, you know what? If I want to go, I can go. And if I don't, there's no expectation. And I'm super happy. Because realistically, I have no idea how I'm going to feel 5 minutes from now, much less an hour from now, much less a day from now, much less 2 or 3 days from now. I really don't know. It can change in an instant. And a lot of that has to do with your introverted intuition, because that's going to start to put together things and they may hit you in a certain way and it'll just send you into a spiral. And all of a sudden you're overthinking it. And then you're gathering more information subconsciously and you're overthinking that. And all of a sudden you're in that NITI loop. And we all know what that's like. Spider cows. If you're not sure what the spider cow thing is, I'm going to link a video up there. You should definitely watch that because that's really important. So how do we solve this as an INFJ? You let people know. I may or may not be feeling up to it, but I'm so glad that you invited me. And is it okay if I just show up? Or do you need to know ahead of time? I mean, these kinds of things, just work with somebody on it. It's not that difficult. And communicate. And if they start to get snarky about it, well, now that's their issue, right? And you're just being who you are. And sure enough. Now, on the flip side, if you commit to the plans and they are important plans and it's not just some flippant party or something like that, then yeah, because now this is a character issue and you want to make sure that you are standing up to your word. That is very important. And as an INFJ in particular, you don't want to be letting people down like that, because if you do that repeatedly, that's going to start hitting you really hard because your extroverted feeling is coming into play. You are constantly letting people down. Now you're going to get into a bad place. And my sweet, sweet INFJ friends, I don't want you in a bad place. I want you in the best places because you guys are freaking amazing. More tea, yeah? Oi, it's lovely. The third one, the last one on my list for now, we have a difficult time understanding how we feel. Okay, so we have our cognitive function stack, right? Our NI, our FE, our TI, our SE. Lower, in the dark depths of the shadow functions, lies FI, introverted feeling, which is essentially how you feel about yourself, how you feel about things. Now, it's not something we're great at. We certainly have our passions and we have our principles and we have things that are just steadfast and true about us. And we are an idealistic type. And so we do definitely have that feeling of needing purpose and needing to belong to something a little bit bigger. Needing to help others. Sometimes it manifests in charity or whatever. But when we get down to the nitty gritty of how we feel, now that gets into trouble. It's low because it's just hard for us to identify, and it's hard for us to identify. So when we do, we put a premium on extroverted feelings. So how we feel ends up getting shoved down the totem pole, so to speak. And how other people feel tends to get elevated. So what happens is we have a tendency to make our decisions due to the happiness of other people, or in terms of how happy they will make other people. And the problem with that is you're putting yourself aside. Sweetheart, let me talk to you right now, okay? Your feelings matter. Your feelings are valid. You have a right to feel the way you do. You don't want to be hurtful, but at the same time, you need to make sure that you are standing up for yourself and how you are feeling about a particular situation. I have gone through this recently, and it's very, very difficult. It's difficult to make decisions that you know will hurt other people. It is difficult to make decisions risking the disappointment of people important to you. And it is difficult letting all of that aside and looking at yourself and saying, that's it. This is the way I feel. This is how I have to handle it. And I hope that people accept me after I do. So a lot of times we frustrate other people, especially in relationships, where we have a difficult time not only just articulating our thoughts, but especially it's exponentially worse because we have a hard time figuring out how we feel and then trying to do that and articulate that, which is already difficult, just it makes it really, really hard, right? And it's okay. It's okay to struggle with these things. I think more than anything, you just have to practice a little bit of patience with yourself and hope that the person that you're with or speaking to is practicing some patience with you and understands how you are and understands how difficult it is to get these thoughts and feelings out and to really speak from your heart about something. If they understand that, that's gold. It really is. Because in a lot of cases, in too many cases, people just get frustrated with INFJs because of this. And they do find us irritating. You never make up your mind and you can never say how you feel and you just keep everything inside and you're just always stuck in your own head, etc., etc., etc. The amount of times I've heard all these words said to me by different people throughout the course of my life, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I'm coming to you right now with just a lot of personal experience, having been through these kinds of things and through these kinds of thoughts. I need another sip. I should have put something else in here. I actually had something else in here. I used this as a planter for a cactus, but like now it's just for tea or coffee. It doesn't taste like cactus. Like, at least I don't think so. And I'm not going to go bite one of my cacti to figure out if it actually does. I just like to pet them and then make myself bleed. Shut up, you. So there we have it. My sweet, sweet INFJ friends. 3 reasons people can find you really irritating. And if you were sent here by an INFJ that is in your life, please know that they really don't like being this way a lot of times. And they are trying, and it is a struggle. And they are desperate to figure it out. And the fact that they would have you watch this shows how much they care about being understood. As INFJs, we need to make the effort to get ourselves more experience, to relax a little bit, to understand others, and understand how others can see us so we can work on improving our communication and how we handle other people and our personal relationships. It helps to simply communicate. More than anything else, just communicate. And hopefully there's an understanding all the way around. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate you. And also, my book is out. It's on Amazon. Links are in the description. There's an INFJ main character who goes through all of the stuff that I talked about in this video in all of these pages. And it's supernatural and it's really cool and people seem to love it. And I love them for it, and I'm just really grateful that people are reading my words, and I hope you will too. If you have read it and you enjoyed the book, please, please, begging you, please, write the review on Amazon. It's the most important thing for me to actually get this started as something that I want to do with the rest of my life. So thank you, as always, for your support, and I will see you very, very soon.